Hello, welcome back to my channel. For something a little different today, I have recreated a battle from a D&D campaign uh, in Medieval Total War 2, Stainless Steel Historical Improvement Project, this mod. Um, I just really like doing this. Anytime there's a battle or something in our D&D group or hell movies or anything, I always find the most relevant Total War and make a mock battle of it, just for shits and giggles. I will say this battle would probably be better played in Warhammer 3, but I do not have Warhammer 3 yet. I'm waiting until Immortal Empires comes out, and then I'll probably pick that up. And then maybe redo this with the Warhammer game, because this is all historical, factions. Uh, so the direct inspirations we have for these countries in our D&D campaign, I've picked their relevant uh, factions here. But backstory on the battle: uh, it's two human kingdoms fighting each other. It's kind of standard D&D world, uh, with a lot of other influences taken in, but primarily standard Dungeons and Dragons races. Uh, but races on this continent tend to form countries and stay to themselves. There's only a couple places where the races really intermingle. But our players had formed a coalition of a bunch of different races to try and fight off the Reich, which is a theocratic, um, autocratic, theocratic empire dictatorship that believes humans are, chosen by God, and all other races must submit. But the resisting humans and a bunch of other races were pulled together behind one player, and while another player was given control of the Reich. And the battle was pretty even. The Reich started with insane amount of troops, but just that other player was able to just form this Mass Effect style alliance and bring together a scrappy army to fight it off. But obviously, I don't have access to magic or anything else, so that's where, when eventually I get Warhammer 3, that doing this battle in that will be really cool. But I spent a lot of time on this, might be pretty impressed. So, on Team 1, or the Southern Kingdoms team, the Alliance, the main army, I would say, is represented here. So this would be the armies of, and a lot of these terms aren't going to make sense to you if you're not in our D&D campaign, so I apologize for that, but I'm just going to go with it. But this is like the House Prize, House Anglin, or House Wayrest, Stalwart, so on and so forth. So the main player character, Alaric the King, is being represented by this character. Obviously, he will not be able to turn into a dragon, so won't have that going for him, but he's got a really beefy unit here. This unit of Yeoman Longbowmen, with its maximum veterancy. Typically, if they have gold veterancy, it's like they're being commanded by a player character, or a renowned person. So this is the House Prize Longbowman, and then our other Longbowmen from the South, very well known, so they also get silver veterancy. These pikemen are meant to represent House Stalwarts pikemen. These King's Footmen, I would assume, would be other men at arms, maybe lesser nobles. But anyway, headcanon, they're being commanded by Rickard. And then more just southern infantry, and then all of the peasants. So a big portion of what swung the battle back to even ground was this player character, this king, made a big speech and got a bunch of peasants and refugees to form a militia. They are poor fucking militia. I mean, just basic peasant infantry. In fact, the standard Total War peasant infantry is a really good like example of what these were able to bring to the fold. All they're going to be able to do is just hold the line. That's it. Then the other side is the nobility on their horseback and also some more peasants. The Southern Kingdom is kind of a mix of both French and English cultures, with the Northern being more French and the Southern being more English, which is an inverse of real world. So these are supposed to represent the Swan Knights of Wayrest, and then just two more heavily armored knights. I did go 1-to-1. I did look at the actual battle map we had, because we wargamed it out. It was pretty wild. And went 1-to-1, tried to give every single unit representation in this battle. So it's pretty wild. There are 10,000 soldiers in this total war battle, which is quite a lot. But yeah, more peasant infantry, and then these heavy armored knights. Then for the Far Course of Norskia, he also got in these Viking Huskarls and several standard Norse infantry, a couple standard Norse archers, some light cavalry, and then these are supposed to represent the Knights of Neverwinter, the Neverwinter Knights. Essentially, the mainland of our continent is all homebrew, and then I just stuck the Sword Coast off of the top right corner and made it very Norsey, Scandinavian. I really haven't ever done that ever again. I very much prefer just everything being homebrew, but once you've run a couple campaigns, you can't just retcon an entire continent. So Neverwinter and all them are part of our world, and these are supposed to represent the Neverwinter Knights. Not as good as the Southern Knights, but kind of Norskia's best equivalent. And then these two units are meant to represent the dwarves that have joined in this. Some heavy armored pikemen represented by Swiss armored pikemen. Obviously, there's no dwarves. And some of their crossbows. And then this battle took place next to a city, and the city was firing down trebuchets and mangonels and whatnot onto the battle. So these two armies start with some artillery. And then also, there's two more factions represented here. The main faction is the Dragonborn Legionnaires. Dragonborn in our homebrew world still have an empire on another continent, but he was able to convince a couple on an outlying province near our continent to join in this fight against the Reich. And so they sent over two cohorts of Dragonborn Legionnaires, very fearsome on the battle. And then they also had some lizard folk. And these are the best tribes people I could find in this. And then they also had raptor riders, which were lizard folk on raptors. There's obviously nothing even similar to this in here. So we gave them some horse archers. But then also there was another faction made up of exiled Reichlanders who did not join the new theocratic empire. These are former nobles who were cast out during the religious revolt and formed their own kind of new colony in the south. So they're represented here by these Landerschnecks, Zweihandlers, and standard Landerschnecks pikemen. That was my way of differentiating these friendly units, or one side's units versus the other side's units, is these are the Landerschnecks with the big poofy hats and feathers and whatnot, and the other ones were just heavy armored Gothic troops. So speaking of which, let's head over to them. So on the flanks, this is all this is a hodgepodge of a bunch of different armies, while this is all essentially one army that I've split up into quarters. So this is like the left flank, and they had a bunch of Jaeger Outriders, which are very well represented here by these mounted crossbowmen. This is essentially exactly what the Jaeger Outriders were. Just dudes on horseback with crossbows, light cavalry. And then some Pavese crossbowmen. And then their main line, let's see. Yes, so this character right here is meant to represent the Reichsprince, Luther Ironblood, sorry. And St. Andrew Luther Ironblood, yeah. Who was the other player character. And he rode in on a griffin, but obviously there's no griffins in medieval Total War, so this is what he's got. He also has some Gothic knights. These are the Reichland knights. The North, the Reich isn't renowned for their cavalry, so it is what it is. Some of their professional infantry, some more Reichland knights, and these are represented as the Knights Hospitaller, or however you pronounce it, and then their own militia, which are actual militia compared to, these militia, which are basically just peasants. These are essentially recruits, because the Reich has a professional army, so these are recruits. And then, they can move their way up to eventually potentially being a knight. The Reich promotes wholly on merit, which is why their army is so feared. This one's basically the same, other than this has the Reichsmarshal's unit, the second in command of the army, and his unit of Zweihandlers. Both of them have trebuchets. One of this player character's traits was that he's obsessed with trebuchets. So he brought a lot of trebuchets, and he also brought a cannon. And then you'll notice that these infantry here are not as highly leveled as these. This is because as they conquested down, they intermixed some of the southern captives into their own army. And these units are to represent that. These are essentially mixed units of new converts and recruits and experienced veterans, and then more militia, and then their other side of the flanking force. So the way medieval Total War will put these out is that it will essentially, these armies will be lined up how they are here, this order. So that's why these two are flanking forces, and this is the bulk of the army. As far as I know, newer Total Wars just combine all allied armies. They don't start off in their own starting zones. So if we do this in Warhammer, we'll have a lot more flexibility. But that means me as the player, I'm not commanding. I always have to be the first one here. And so I will always start off on the flank. So I chose a flanking army of these cavalry and some peasants. But that means I won't be able to control the main force, which I would say is this army. And this, so I won't have control directly over who would be quote-unquote Alaric, the king. I will just be controlling some cavalry on the outskirts. But all that said, it's time to go. And then they never have that good of speeches. Okay, so showcase some of these units, because goddamn, they're so fucking good. Yeah, these heavily armed lancers for France. These are some of these poor peasants that were just took up any pole arms they could get and joined the king in battle to defend their homes against the Reich and crucifixion and sacking and pillaging. Some more southern knights also looking very, very fine. And then another unit of knights. I just chose, there is some stat differences between these three units. I just picked three units, really just for visual distinction, so they all look a little different. And then for the more southern, the English-inspired part of the kingdom, you have these light pikemen to represent House Stalwart, and their pikemen. The only pikemen brought to this battle, as far as I know. And then the halberd militia, which is essentially the main fighting force of the South. And then you have some of these dismounted men-at-arms who are going to be led by Rickard, which would be this guy, I guess, or one of them. It doesn't really matter. Well, you know what? Yeah, we'll make it Kettlehelm here. Kettlehelm is the. Actually, I do think the commander is always the one in the back. Let's look at the other ones. No, this one's at the front. I guess it is this guy, huh? Yeah, and he is different than everyone else here. So yeah, this is Rickard here with a pole arm. And more of these militia. And here are some of the artillery. And then this unit will represent Alaric. So this person right here, that is Alaric. Like I said, when I get Warhammer, it'll be a lot easier to represent this battle, but it's still a lot of fun. And then this is to represent troops from Norskia. Oh, I'm sorry, I did forget to show the longbowmen. These unit models look so good. God damn. Yeah, looks so good. Then we got our units from Norskia. So you have Dwarven crossbows here, represented by these mercenary crossbows. Norse archers. These are supposed to represent the dwarves, heavily armored. Another pikeman unit. Yeah, there you go. Standard Norse infantry here. Very cool. Love these unit models. And then way back here, so these would be commanded by Aller, son of Thor. Is these Viking Huskarls. There were other units that had more classic Viking aesthetic, but it's all right. So essentially, this guy is Aller here, and then some Norse cavalry, and then these are the Neverwinter Knights. And I believe that's it for them. And then over here, we have these guys representing the Raptor Riders. Very cool. Love their feathers. And then we got House Regenstaffen's Zweihandlers, Lizard Folk infantry. And then the two units of Dragonborn Legionnaires. Love the standards. And then some more Regenstaffen Knights. After that, we can go ahead and actually start moving our troops around. So essentially what we want to do is send our militia to support the two center armies. So this one will go over to this army, and these guys will go over here, and then these will can take on anything over here in the flanking force. And then once the two main armies clash, they can swing around. At least that's my plan. I do have it set on very hard. This mod does not fuck around, so let's see. Let's get these guys over here, get them running, and get them going. So we'll take a second to showcase the Reichs units. Got Pavese crossbowmen, Jaeger outriders. I mean, this is pretty much one-to-one what I envisioned on the battlefield. Their handcraft. Oh, we already got an exchange of artillery. Oh my god, yeah. You got their militia, and you got their Reichland infantry. And then, well, this will be the Reich Marshal here. Be him right there. Really sending in a lot of fire. Here's some Reichland Knights. Very intimidating. Got lots going on here. Norse infantry coming in. Very fascinating. I don't know what they're hoping to accomplish here. And then there's some more heavy armored knights, and then somewhere is actually Luther's unit, but I don't know where. And then over here, just more of the flanking forces getting involved. We'll put all of our AI on attack mode. And we will do everything we can over here to assist. So, might as well scare off these guys. Move these guys over here. Move up our militia. Now these units should run away. They might not though. Might as well get a free hit on these crossbowmen. A devastating hit. And then these Jaegers are not going to stand any hope against these heavily armored Southern Knights. See, over here, got a Lark's unit. There's a Lark right there, forming a front line, or at least I am with my militia. Well, I'm at the very least blunting the blow for them. But we do have some the Rickards unit right here. Got him right there, bucket helmet. Nope, there he is. I forgot. That's him. They've got their Southern, or Reichland Knights getting involved. There's Aller's unit fighting off some, oh shit. Jesus, big explosions. Fighting these Reichland infantry. Okay, now we can move. Yeah, we need to start flanking with our... We are very well what could win this battle. Ooh, I'm actually going to take this big charge here against the against these V handlers. Oh god, they're trying to stop me. Oh, they're going to succeed. Yeah, these Jaegers are going to catch. They saw what was happening. Okay, well, I guess we're... Oh, Jesus. Brutal. Very cinematic battle. Move up these militia. Now these guys can get a good charge in. Couch lances. Oh, or not. They couldn't get up the oh shit, these are... No, we don't want to... don't get caught in a melee with these Wee handlers. They'll chop your horse's heads off. Somebody died. Someone in the Reich, one of the Reich generals died. Not sure who. It'll be pretty hard to keep track of any of these generals. Now these guys can get in a good charge. Yeah, to the side of these. Oh my god, these militia are not going to do it.
Our men are winning the battle. If we continue like this, we will smash the enemy.
Oof. Did not get a good charge off. Okay, fall back. Just a lot of things going on right now. A lot of chaos. There's House Stalwart's pikemen. They're moving in. God, the animations are so good. Except that guy. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's given up on life.
The enemy is badly blocked.
He's trying to move back into position. Okay. We've gotten them in a good position. They should be able to get a good charge off. Charge of the Swan Knights.
They may lose heart and flee.
Captain Ystein. I believe that would have been Aller. So sorry, Aller died. Oh my god, yeah. That was a good charge. But they will definitely not break, so we just have to keep cycle charging. Keep moving through there. Things are looking okay over here. Got my horde of peasants fighting this unit, but they're being backed up by these Norse infantry. Got the Neverwinter Knights here. Not many of them left. They've suffered heavy casualties. These militia up. They can get another good charge in here. These V-handlers are cutting through these. Okay. Now they're starting to break. Oh, we got a melee here. We outnumber them. We should win this fight. Got plenty of fire coming down from our longbowmen. Very cinematic.
Only half the enemy force remains.
Oh yeah. There's still quite a good bit of Southern infantry on the field. And I hazard to suspect that the let's see, the Dragonborn infantry are still alive and kicking. Yep. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, they're still here. Oh my god. What a devastating hit. Some cinematic shots of battle.
The enemy flees the battle. Run down those worthless peasants.
There we go. We got the last stand of the SV handlers. They are certainly still cutting through these peasants. Oh my god. Nope. Yep. That guy's dead. Are they fleeing? Nope. They're not. They're holding their ground. Even with only 12 of them. They're still carving through these peasants. These peasants are not enough. Ooh, I wonder if Rickard's still alive. Oh, there's only 15 of these guys left. I don't think Rickard made it. Oh, they're going back in. They want blood. Can the peasants overwhelm these V-handlers? They're trying. That guy's not. Well, might as well get these infantry in. Oh, they're fleeing. Yep, that's it. That is it. Now it's just finding whatever unit hasn't started routing yet. And I don't know what that unit is. Yeah, even the Reichland Knights are fleeing. It is a resounding victory for the Alliance. Yep, just Neverwinter Knights cutting down these. Is it? Oh, there's Alaric. Alaric made it. Riding down some troops there.
Grâce à Dieu, our men have slain the enemy general.
Yeah, I don't know who's nope. There it is.
Down those worthless peasants.
Resounding victory for the South. A hard-fought one, though. Quite a few people died. There you go. There we have it.
Only belongs to men of great virtue and valor.
Yeah, the one who got the most kills was, I believe this was Luther's unit. Or, army. Definitely got 13 or 1100. The highest we got was 6 out of 1. So, if just any one of these armies hadn't been able to join this fight, I really don't think he would have won. But that's how it shaked out in the campaign. That's how it shaked out in this battle. We'll see how it shakes out whenever I get Warhammer 3 and we add magic and dragons and griffins and all sorts of crazy shit to the mix. Um, but anyway, thanks for sticking around for this video. A little different, but had a lot of fun. See ya.